Hi everyone, and welcome to the NAEP Forum Highlights video for August 7, 2015. I'm Greg Mackway from the University of California and responsible for the Heard on the Street column in the NAEP Education Procurement Journal. This video is an overview of the hot procurement topics on the NAEP Forum over the past week. Just like the last video, this one was recorded using Google Hangout. Be sure to click the link in the bottom left corner to get the additional content I've loaded into the video. And with that, we'll go ahead and get started. Hey everybody. First of all, I just wanted to say thank you so much for the feedback and comments and support I got from the video last week. Super exciting that you guys are finding this interesting and a good way to engage. So today, I just wanted to talk about a few tips and tricks of using the forum that I identified, and then get into three topics I think, that I wanted to highlight in the forum. So one question that I got from a bunch of folks was how to know when these videos were going to be posted. I was hoping that I could do it the same time every week, but with work and responsibilities, that's not going to happen. So two ways. One is to subscribe to this YouTube channel by clicking the subscribe button below. I'll also post in the NAEP National Forum whenever one of these videos goes live. So go ahead and just keep an eye on that and keep up to speed on when I post new videos. So with that, let's go ahead and jump into the recommendations. So as I started working on these forum topics, I'm looking for updates. There were two things that I thought were beneficial. So I was going to walk you through those two things. One is getting updates from the forum and then posting your signature. So prior to, let me go ahead and share my screen here. Prior to posting all the time, and by default, NAEP sets us up with instant notifications of new forum topics. So what that means is anytime someone posts to the forum, you get an email blast saying, hey, somebody posted the forum, come check it out. It's okay. The biggest thing there is that the subject doesn't really tell you what they're talking about. It just says there's a new post. So what I found to be more beneficial is if you go into the NAEP subscription settings, which you can see here, to get here, if you are on the NAEP forum page and you go to My Profile, and then you go to Manage Profile, and you go here to Forum Settings, you get to this page. Now you can also get to this page by clicking the link in the Google Hangout showcase. You have to be logged into the NAEP forum, but it'll take you straight to this page. So right here, it has the option to subscribe to instant updates and unsubscribe from the digest. So rather than being subscribed to the instant updates, I'm subscribed to the digest, which gives me a daily newsletter of all of the topics. I like it a lot. It actually gives more content in the one email that tells me what happened during the day. You can turn them both on if you really want, but this digest, daily digest is really helpful. Let me see if I can pull up quickly what that looks like. You can all check my email. There you go. So here's what, let me pull it over here so you can see. So this is the one I received this morning, which has, a couple highlights of the new topics and then any additional posts. So I posted on SciQuest yesterday, and it should show up down here. Okay. So that's what you can do to change your notification settings here. And then when I was on this page, I was like, oh great, I was looking for the forum signature. So by putting my information in this box, it automatically populates any post I make on the site. So rather than typing my contact information every time or doing anything else, I can update it here once and it'll populate all my posts and tell people who I am. So that was really helpful. Okay, So with that, we're going to jump into the hot topics for the week, or at least I keep calling them hot topics, but they're the ones I found interesting to drive additional conversation. So one of the first ones here is I wanted to highlight an unused portion of the NAEP forums. I see a lot of content and information coming through on the national forum, but we have all of these great regional forums as well. So wherever your region is, you can have local conversations. You know, maybe that's based on local vendors, maybe that's something else. I'm hoping to use it within the Pacific region specifically for meetups, right? I mean, we can travel up and down California and Oregon and Washington relatively easily. We should attempt to get together more often and see what we're doing. So what I put in here in the Pacific region, in my region, is a roll call. If you are within the Pacific region, I'd love to know that you're engaging and you're looking at the forum and you're watching these videos. So just a quick roll call, you know, post a reply that saying, hey, I'm here, introduce yourself, and it'll help us to build a regional network and start getting together and talk about getting together at regional events and doing things like that. So go ahead, and if you're in the Pacific region, go onto this topic and post your update. If you're in another region, I recommend starting a roll call and getting the ball rolling and meeting your peers who are around locally. Okay, the next NAEP forum topic that I wanted to highlight was one about SciQuest. You saw that come through in the daily digest, which was cool. But Donna came out and said UNLV, University of Nevada, Las Vegas, is looking at new e-procurement platform and wanted to hear about engagement with SciQuest. And this question, I feel like, comes out every time there's a national conversation. Either you're at NAEP National Convention, you're shooting emails around, you're part of another leadership group. Everybody's talking about this, and this question gets asked a lot. You know, how does it work? What do you do? Advantages, disadvantages. What I saw was interesting was Angela came in and talked about a specific metric they used to track and that they were looking to reduce with the implementation of an e-procurement system. That was great. You know, the idea is, you know, you actually have this need and that you're trying to meet. It's not just because everybody's doing it. So what I'd like to hear, and what my post down here is that for any other campus using SciQuest, you know, these goals that you set out to justify the buy, are you still maintaining them? Or what were they, number one? And are you maintaining them going forward? You know, if you're looking for a 80% reduction in your cycle time for requisitions, is that still important, or did you move on to something else? You know, we kind of jumped to the end goal in our justification, which was savings, both of time and then of money. And then some of those fell off, and we have the struggle to, this is at San Francisco and Berkeley, to then tell people how we're doing within the e-procurement channel, when in reality, it's how our procurement organization is transforming overall and the benefit it's driving. So I'd love to hear if you're in charge, if you're responsible for your e-procurement systems, if you have someone who can provide that insight, you know, what were your goals, and are those goals still relevant today? And if they're not, do you have new goals? And then to Angela's post, how do you track them? You know, what metrics are you using specifically within the SciQuest environment that helps you tell your story? I think that's a really interesting way to let folks know about, you know, the benefit we're bringing to the university. And if somebody solved that, it would be great to know, because I'll use it for sure. So SciQuest conversation is a great topic to engage in. All right. The next one here listed is bottled water. So this is a request coming from Peter about bottled water suppliers, right? So the idea here is, you know, you have a service provider for your campus that distributes a product everywhere, and he was looking for some responses. So far, the responses are, we have somebody, we like them, which is great. For me, it triggered a big question about this type of commodity in general, which is decentralized distribution of a good meeting a need to support current infrastructure, right? I have a space that doesn't have water. I need water there for my staff. We don't have within our campus, many times the manpower to distribute that activity. So what do you do with a commodity like this? How do you manage? What strategy do you put in place to either manage or facilitate what's important? I think by default we kind of go into, it's hard. We'll put a contract in place, and I don't want to speak for everybody. This is what I see happen at campuses that I'm engaged with. It's a small commodity, not enough spend from a procurement perspective. Let's put a contract in place so that the spend is at least covered by contract. But is that enough? Is that really what we should be doing in this space? Because we're at the University of California, San Francisco, and Berkeley, we're supply chain management, we also have the logistics piece. So I see a great opportunity right there to build that service into our logistics network, our internal logistics network, but I don't know if it's worth it. Those are the types of questions that are challenging to me to answer. What I posted up here was a link to a summary spreadsheet as far as the UC water service. So at each of our campuses, this is just invoice data, nothing special, and the annual spend is rounded off to make it easy. But by looking at the number of customers and looking at the number of invoices that we get on a per campus basis, we can see how large of a commodity this is, and if it's worth exploring further. From a procurement perspective, I put on my procurement hat, and $1.3 million system-wide, yeah, we should probably have a contract to cover it. But I put on my sourcing hat and say, well, at $1.3 million with 400 customers, is there savings to be generated there? I don't know. And then for my customer service hat, I put that on and I look at this and say, hey, no, you're touching 400 customers. The number of invoices sometimes relate to the number of locations there are, given that this is a service. So if they're being serviced monthly, maybe it's weekly and this number is a lot smaller. But if they're being serviced monthly, there could be 2,000 locations that this vendor is servicing on our behalf. So from a customer service perspective, it's a great way to get in front of your customers and align your supply chain management group to your customer locations, especially if you're going there already to deliver mail or parcels or anything else. So there could be an opportunity there too. So it's hard to take a look at those three different things and come up with a rational strategy going forward. What I'd like to do is, if you guys are having these similar conversations or struggle in a similar way, or if you've solved this problem, you're doing something innovative in this space, I'd love to hear about it. Please post in the comments below, and we'll go from there. We'll just start a dialogue on this. It can be bottled water, or we can extend it into other similar categories where we have a distributed user base that uses a service. I'd love to get some understanding on ways that you've solved this problem, or the way that you think about this type of problem. That would be very helpful. And I think other people would be interested too. So finally, I wanted to touch on a topic that maybe might get me in a little trouble. I don't think I'll get in trouble for this, but the idea here is, I'm going to ask some questions about sustainability that I don't think that we ask very often. Procurement sustainability policy. So Cal State, the other large higher educational institution within California, said, hey, give me your sustainability policy. I struggle with sustainability because of its fuzziness, but also because of its prioritization within our organization, right? Between facilitating customer need and saving money, sustainability usually is many times in conflict with that. So many organizations put up sustainability policies, but they don't do much except for tell people this is how you should think about it. If you want to buy sustainably, these are the types of things that you should consider in a way when you're making your purchasing decisions. One good example of this is EPAT certification for IT hardware. So we have a piece of hardware, or for like desktop and laptop, there's this EPAT certification, which is pretty industry standard. It'd be hard to find a piece of equipment that doesn't have this that doesn't have the certification up until 2012. Now, the big thing that happened in 2012 is that Apple took EPAT and said, we don't want your certification anymore. Please remove us from your list. So yeah, they felt that their sustainability and activity was better, and for whatever reason they didn't want it. But many of our procurement policies and sustainable procurement policies still say that everything that's bought has to be EPAT certified. So the thing here is are we going to stop people from buying MacBooks and other Mac products because they're not EPAT certified? Of course not. But then that brings up the question of what's the benefit of having a sustainability policy if these activities are in conflict with the other priorities of the procurement group. So I struggle with this all the time. I struggle with this with our procurement, with our sustainable procurement activity and what we try to strategize and where we want to move in that space. I'd love to hear if someone has solved this problem, or even more so, if you prioritize sustainability above those other strategic goals. How do you do it? How do you make that work within your campus environment? It's an interesting thing that I struggle with often. So I thought it was really interesting procurement topic. So go ahead and log into the forum and add your thoughts to the conversation. Where am I going from here? I'm stopping the screen share. So again, guys, those are the topics that I wanted to touch on this week. Thanks again for logging in and watching this. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please tell me so in the comments below. If there's something you'd like me to highlight, shoot me an email or start a forum topic on it, and we will go from there. Again, thanks again, and I will see you next week. Cheers.